Have you ever wondered what it really takes to create the medicines we all rely on? Well, it turns out it's one of the highest stakes gambles in the entire world. We're about to dive into the world of life sciences and pharmaceuticals, and it all kicks off with two very, very important numbers. All right, let's start with the first number. $2 billion. Just let that sink in for a second. Keep that massive figure in your head, because it's a staggering amount of money, but what for? And now for our second number, 10 years, an entire decade of research, of trials, and just painstaking work. So what do you think happens when you put $2 billion and 10 years of effort together?
You get the average investment needed to bring a single, new drug from a laboratory all the way to your local pharmacy. $2 billion and a decade of work for just one shot on goal. This, right here, is the central challenge that defines this entire industry.
Okay, so that $2 billion price tag, that isn't just a one-off. It's a single bet in a global casino that is worth trillions. So just how big is this gamble, really? Right now, the global life sciences market is already worth nearly $2 trillion. And get this, it's not slowing down. It's projected to grow by about 10% every single year for the foreseeable future. That kind of explosive growth is just fueled by relentless innovation and, of course, a constantly growing demand for new treatments.
So who are the ones actually making these massive, multi-billion-dollar bets? Well, the answer really lies in a handful of dominant countries and, you guessed it, huge corporations.
When it comes to pure research and development, the real innovation, the United States is the undisputed leader, pouring unbelievable resources into it. But it's definitely a global effort. Switzerland and Germany are also major hubs. And you have to keep an eye on the rising powerhouses in China and India, who are becoming absolute giants in manufacturing, producing many of the cost-effective generic drugs we see all over the world. And on the corporate side of things, yeah, you're going to recognize these names. We're talking about giants like Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Merck. They're the ones steering the industry with these massive R&D pipelines and a truly global reach. But remember that 10-year timeline we just talked about? Well, it's being completely upended by a technological revolution. I'm talking about artificial intelligence, and it is changing the entire game. Traditionally, finding a new drug was, it was literally like searching for a needle in a haystack. Scientists would have to manually screen compounds over years and years, a slow, brutal process with absolutely no guarantee of success. And then, bam, enter the revolution. Today, AI can screen millions of potential drug compounds in a matter of days. What once took years of manual lab work can now happen in just a few weeks. This is a truly transformative shift, and it is drastically cutting down that initial discovery time. But, okay, even with super fast AI, the fundamental business of medicine is still a high-stakes financial maze. Technology can speed up discovery, for sure, but it can't just eliminate the incredible financial risks involved. I want you to really think about this for a second. After investing all that time and all that money, a staggering 90% of drugs that enter clinical trials will fail. So how on earth does a company survive a 90% failure rate on its most expensive projects? Well, the answer is this concept called binary risk, and it's basically an all-or-nothing outcome. Seriously, think of it like a single coin flip for a billion-dollar prize. If a drug gets approved, it's worth billions. If it's rejected, it's worth absolutely nothing. There is just no middle ground. And here's the kicker. Even when a company wins that billion-dollar coin flip, a clock starts ticking immediately. Every successful drug is protected by a patent. But once that patent expires, they face what's called the patent cliff. Cheaper generic versions, which are basically legal copies, flood the market, sales just plummet, and the company is suddenly in a desperate search for the next blockbuster. So how do they manage this constant pressure? To survive, big pharmaceutical companies have to act a lot like venture capitalists. They are constantly scanning the market for smaller, innovative biotech startups that have promising drugs in development, and then they acquire them to refill their own product pipelines. It's a core strategy just for survival. So, we've seen the money, the players, the playing credible tech, and the high-stakes financial tightrope they walk. So what does this all mean for us? Why does any of this really matter? Well, what we have is an industry defined by incredible risk and truly colossal rewards, and it's dominated by just a handful of global giants. We've seen how AI is a complete game changer, accelerating discovery like never before. And it's all built on these unique financial pressures, like that billion-dollar coin flip of binary risk and the constant threat of the patent cliff.
All of this leads to one final critical question. We know AI is making drug discovery faster and more efficient, right? It's reducing some of that incredible risk and cost. So, will that amazing technological leap finally lead to lower prices for the life saving medicines we all depend on?